Hey guys, it's Amber. So today's video is going to be another testing out YouTube makeup tutorials. So if you guys missed my first video, I will link it up here. But basically the premise of this video is kind of before the whole I tried a so-and-so's makeup tutorial. As requested from one of my subscribers that I should try out some makeup tutorials. But the idea that I wanted to do was not just to do like famous YouTubers, but do like other people that I've never heard of, or maybe do someone that's a smaller YouTuber like me. So the first time I actually just looked for a specific palette and I searched for it, found a really beautiful makeup tutorial. You guys can check it out if you haven't already. Today I just basically typed into my phone makeup tutorial. I know, really genius, right? I was just like, if I just type in makeup tutorial, what comes up? So I typed makeup tutorial and just scrolled on my phone. And I was like, and then I saw this one. And I was like, what is that? And I was like, oh my gosh, this video has like 9.5 million views. It's from a creator that I've never seen. I need to do this makeup look. I liked that it was neutral since the last one I did was more colorful. And I'm like, yes, yes, yes. So this makeup is called Classic Brown Glitter Eye Makeup Tutorial. And the creator, I think I'm going to slaughter this, so I'll put her name right here. It's Nook. It's K-N-O-O-K. I think it's going to be like knock, like Nook, maybe. If you guys know her, let me know how she pronounces it. So she has almost 800,000 subscribers. She has tons of makeup looks that have over 1 million views. So I'm surprised that she doesn't have 1 million subscribers for as many views as she gets on her videos. And it looks like she has a ton of them. She has one that has 17 million views. She has a lot of popular videos. So I am going to try this. So I only watched the first part of this video and it said she was using the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. And I already decided I was going to do this before. And I was like, oh, genius, I already have that palette. I'm actually going to be using the same palette that she has, but I didn't even mean for that to happen. Like I said in my last video, I'm not exactly sure how I go about getting other people's videos into mine. So I'm just showing you on my phone. Hopefully you can deal. Alright, so she starts off with her primer, and then she puts some translucent powder over this and kind of blended it out with her beauty blender. So I'm going to take this AOA Perfect translucent powder and do that. Then she takes a big fluffy brush and goes into the shade called MFEO and starts putting it as a transition color.
Now I'm going in with the shade Puder, and I'm going to do the exact same thing as I did with the other eyeshadow shade. I'm just going to blend this all over in my crease using.
Alright, same brush into the shade Puder. Now when I do my eyeshadow, I tend to focus my crease shade more on the outside of my eye. So this is something that's a little different, going in a little bit farther than I normally do.
So now I'm going in with the shade Buns. And I'm going to blend this in my crease as well. It's a lot darker, so.
Okay, now I'm going into the shade Buns. She just was going to say, don't put too much product on your brush. So I kind of tapped off there. Okay, so far, going good. Okay, so now she switched brushes from like a dome shade brush to more of a blending brush like this. So I'm going to go back into Buns and go right back into the crease of this.
Trying to focus a little bit more in my crease. So now I picked up a more flat blending brush because I felt like that worked a little bit better. So now I'm going in with the shade Mocha, and I'm going to blend this in my crease as well.
So it seems like we are still layering dark shades as we go. She does a much better job of keeping it off her lid, but because my eyes are hooded, I don't have much lid space. Kind of gets there. I'm liking that. I feel like this is different than what I would normally do with my browns. Like I said, I always fall into the habit of just putting them on the outside corner. So I'm liking this.
So now for my eyelid, I'm going to use the shade Beam, and first I'm going to press this in my inner corner, and then I'm making my brush wet to give it a little bit more intensity. I feel it.
Okay, so now she's going into the shade Beam, which is the second lightest shade at the top, and she starts in the inner corner, and then she wets her brush and works it into the corner a little more.
So now I'm going in with the shade Cream, and same story, I made my brush wet while I was applying this. Well, not while.
So wetting my brush, I'm going to go into the shade Queen, which is a brilliant gold shade, and she is putting this on her lid. It doesn't appear that she goes all the way across, that she kind of focuses it in the center, stops before she gets to the outside of her eye.
It's wet on the eyelid. So now I'm going in with the shade Roxanne, and I'm using a flat blending brush again, and I'm just going to press this in my outer V.
Okay, so back to the flat blending brush. I'm going into the shade Roxanne, which is a little bit more warmth. It has kind of a reddish tone, and this is going on the outer V. Okay, so now she's just going through and just kind of generally blending everything with that blending brush, just to make sure that it's not too harsh. Mine ends up being a little bit more of a cut crease because of my hooded eyes, but I'm going through and just blending that. So now she takes some glitter. I don't know what I have in the glitter department. Alright, this is the fun thing about tutorials, is you can just improvise. I did not have any gold loose glitter, but I do have this diamond glitter liner from Santee. So what I'm going to do is just kind of put a little bit of this on the back of my hand and apply that and see if I can get a little bit more of that glittery look. Okay, that worked kind of amazingly well. I didn't think I was going to have any gold glitter, but this liner thing, I just used kind of a shorter, flatter synthetic brush. It made such a difference as far as having that gold pop.
Sheer. So I went on top of this with my end.
Okay, so she used a gel, but then she went back in with a liquid liner because she wasn't happy with the look of it, and she did a really nice dramatic wing, and then she just touched it up on the sides with concealer. Alright, so I'm going to use my NYX Epic Ink Liner. I'm probably not going to do nearly as good as she does because I just am not that good at doing wings. So we will just go with it and see what happens. I feel like my hooded eyes haven't really affected me till now. I feel like I've been able to get mostly the look that she did, but I never feel like I can get that super glam Instagram liner. It just isn't in the cards for me, but I'll do my best. Alright, I think this is about as Instagram wing as I can go. What I did to compensate for my hooded eyes is I brought the wing out and tried to keep that nice triangle, but over my actual lid I go really thin, because otherwise if I do it really big across the whole thing, my whole eyelid is gone. So now I need to clean up the edges with concealer and apply some black eyeliner in my waterline. Okay, so she does go all the way into the inner corners. Alright, going into the inner corners with the black eyeliner is not something I typically do, so again, getting out of my comfort zone a little bit.
Okay. So now I'm going in with the black shade from the Morphe palette, and I'm using a super tiny brush, which is by Zoeva.
Alright, so what she did is taking a small little pencil brush. She is going into the black and smudging that underneath her lash line. Now with my eyes, because they're a little bit downturned, I need to be careful not doing this too heavy. Where she's got a nice big open eye, I feel like it can kind of drag my eye down and make it look a little more droopy, so I have to be very careful with this. And then going back into the warm Roxanne color and blending that in as well. I find if I just try to put it on the waterline, it kind of gets down there, but if I actually try to go under the lash line, I get way too much. All right, now I'm going into the color Roxanne. And using a pencil brush, she blends it all together. This is a lot more dark liner than I'm used to wearing. I usually like to keep my liner a little lighter, so it is definitely out of my comfort zone and very fun. I really like it. Okay, so she just basically finishes off with mascara and some lashes. I guess she actually has her own lash company, which I think is pretty cool. So she never really zooms the video out so I can see all of her face together. But since I have this palette here, I'm going to throw some blush on. Let's go with Coralista. This is a Benefit box. This has a little bit of shimmer, so I'm going to forego the highlight. And let's get something really natural on the lips. This is the Ofra Liquid Lipstick in Verona. I just felt like I wanted something very nude. If these lashes look a little wonky, it's because they're magnetic lashes. I just put them on really quick when I film tutorials just to give the effect of a lash, especially when I'm not wanting to wear a lash all day. Then it doesn't ruin the makeup look, but it means that they're a little wonky at times, so there's that. Okay, so now for my favorite part of doing this, which is the critique. It's one of those things that literally, it's just hard to tell when you're looking at it until you actually go back and look at the footage. I feel like this is such a great learning experience for anyone who wants to improve their makeup skills, because when I look back, it seems so obvious the things that I did and didn't do, but at the time, it doesn't seem obvious. Of course, for one, she has amazing brows. My brows are always kind of a whatever, so there's that. Two, I did not put on as much pigment, I think, as she did. I did not take it as high, and I also blended it out too much. So I think that's a big summary. I think what's going on the lid there and, you know, is kind of reminiscent of what she's got going on. I do feel like her color is a little more rose gold, where mine is more true gold. But like the whole crease work, I think was looking a lot better before I actually blended it. And I think it's just one of those things that I have a tendency to over blend things and then I'm like blending it too much. There's also a lot to take into consideration with lighting and with cameras, and how things look in real life is different than what they look like in camera, which is why when I was doing this, it actually looked more pigmented, but now that I'm looking back in the footage, it doesn't look as pigmented. So there is a lot of variances there that it's just hard to know until you actually film it and look at it. Maybe hers looked even darker in person. It's just really hard to say. So I don't see this as a fail. I see this as I'm on the right track. I definitely want to try this again, but I did not take my Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette with me, so it's something I'm going to have to do once I get back home. I did try experimenting today with the palettes I had, and even though it was a pretty look, I really just want to try it again with those colors to see if I can really get it to have that nice crease look just like hers does. So I'm going to keep working at this, but I really enjoy this. I feel like it's a new look that I can definitely play around with, and I think that I learned some new things. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I can never really tell if I nail it or fail it until I go back and edit it. What do you guys think? Do you think I nailed it, or do you think I completely failed it? I mean, you can be honest. I think I did a better job at this one than I did the last one, since it's more neutral colors. But, you know, I just do my best. Anyway, a big shout out to Anouk for her amazing tutorial. I thought it was easy to follow. I thought her editing was done really well, and I really enjoy the overall look, and I was glad that it got me outside of my box a little bit. So definitely a more dramatic look, but it has those big lashes and a bunch of sparkles. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! And this is why I have magnetic lashes. I just pull them off like that. Boom. Makeup intact.